All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another year and review. So, in this one, we're going to be going over my metrics for the year of 2024. We're going to talk about all the good, all the bad, the ugly, everything in between. And we're going to also talk a little bit about our game plan for moving forward into the new year. On top of that, we're also going to talk a little bit of motivation. As we know, it was a tough year, and not everybody might have came out on top in terms of the green. So we're going to talk some motivation, and we're also going to talk a little bit about the chat room and how the chat room done. And so we'll have a whole overlook at the community as well. So let's just jump right into it. Let's just go straight for it. Here is the performance day by day in terms of red versus green. Of course, we're going to click on each month, go through individually. So we started off the year pretty strong, solid start to the month. January, 29,000. I'm smiling because today's the first day of the new year and I'm red. But anyhow, nice start to the year. Lovely consistency. This is what you want out of every month, really and truly, right? Minimal stress, just very calmly, quietly locking it in. And you can see, it was steady. We kept the losses small, and a couple of bigger green days like the 26th, the 2nd, really got us to where we needed to be, and we had a solid month there. February, one of the hottest months of the year, perhaps the hottest for some people. You know, absolute just insanity. Stocks like BMR, HOLO, and others that came. Just interesting markets. We were absolutely on fire. We had the confidence from January, so coming into February, naturally we pushed on some more. March, much more of the same. And around this time, my confidence was just insane. Like just coming in every day, feeling pretty good. We had a bit of a 3 day red stretch right here, but all good. Week 4, week 2, very solid week 2 with this big day here on the 7th. The plus 10K days, they always help out so much in terms of the monthly P&L, right? They do go a long way. So March pretty good, and then coming into April, after the first week of April, if we're to just look at this first week of April, man, I was thinking, here we go, right here. Here we go. This is about to be the best month I've ever had with this type of start. We're ending the week super strong. And, it's so interesting because at this time, half my family, half my friends are going on a vacation. And I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm going anywhere. And I think at the time, I made the decision for the right reasons, which is that, hey, I'm having some of the best trading I've had to this point in my career. There's no way I go anywhere. And the vacation started on the 8th. From the 8th, guys, to the 15th. Monday to Monday. I think maybe even to the 22nd, because some people stayed long. I think it wasn't to the 20. It might have been to the 29th, actually. I think it might have been to the 29th. And if I could have only seen the future, I would have went and enjoyed myself, man. I would have went and enjoyed. I think it's to the 29th because the real event doesn't start till this week, I think, and then people leave after. But yeah, just unbelievable that I didn't do anything in this 3 week stretch here. So important lesson, especially if you think you need it. Take the vacation, come back even more hungry, rejuvenated, rested, stronger, quicker, better, right? So important lesson was learned there for sure. May, and that slowdown was like a sign because then into May we did have momentum, but I got destroyed, man. It's tough market for me. Just everything I'm trying just not working. And I think what I could have done here was to stick around a little longer on some of the days, but I kind of hit my max loss pretty quickly and then left out. And so to start the month down about $7,000. If we're to add in some of the red days from the end of April, because we did have two back-to-back red days there. You can see we're pretty much down like a $8,000 drawdown at the time. So that was pretty bad. But then in the second half, man, second half of the month, we pulled it together. We had and I really underperformed these 2 weeks here. Of course, coming out of a drawdown, sometimes it happens, but this Thursday was huge, man. We had, I think, FFIE and some other penny stocks that came, and if you are aggressive and pushing, the damage you could have done on these days here was just insane. But we were grateful to at least, stay afloat, and we walked away with something, which was all that mattered. And so, May, tough month. At this point, we're reaching the halfway mark, and we're up about $160,000 on the year at this point. June, fairly decent month, pretty quiet, no massive days per se, but the numbers did add up, and we were able to get over 10K. A couple smaller green days you can see here. Perhaps, let's see, I think 27th, the biggest day. Yeah, $3,700 was the biggest day of the month back then on June. Interesting, because usually the summer months, the sun is shining on me the brightest. Not quite the case this year. Summer months pretty slow. July, another chilled month, around 11,000. Don't worry, and we'll get into the detailed section in a sec. We're kind of just looking at the month by month, play by play here. So we had the 8th and the 24th standing out to me. Is just, man, the $2,500 days, man. These 2 days alone is $5,000. $5,000 I could have had in my pockets today. $5,000. And you can see how much it set us back on both weeks, right? Both weeks. Yeah, I mean, week 3, you can see we had, much better days overall, but man. So the 29th, the 12th, those 2 days really helped us out a lot. And sometimes, that's what a month can end up becoming, right? So when you have a slower month, and there's really that hot stock or two or three that comes along throughout the month, if you can really capitalize on those stocks, sometimes that alone can essentially make your month, right? So 38, so essentially 4 plus 3, right? So about $8,000 there just between these 2 days. Makes a huge difference on the month. August started off a little slower, week 1, week 2, but then into week 3, week 4, we got some hotter momentum. We were a little bit more on the offensive, and we were able to lock in a decent month, right? Not bad at all here for August. Red days look to have been kept to a minimum, especially these 27th, the 15th, the 9th, the 1st, the 2nd, pretty good. 5th, I mean, all this is pretty good. The 3rd, the 6th, a little bigger, but part of the deal. Part of the deal. September, another slower month. Started off though. Well, oh no, never mind. I thought this was a 9K start. I must say, started off pretty good. But anyhows, started off a little slower, fairly consistent the first 2 weeks. Week 3, a little bit more turbulence, but we did have a bigger green day on the 17th. And again, this is going to be one of those days that helps boost up the month a little bit. But into week 4, a lot of trouble here. 3-day red streak, the 24th, 25th, 26th. Red day got bigger, which is never good. You want your red days to be smaller if you're ever red consecutive days. But we did bring it down and then got back to green. October, I think this is the worst month for me of the year. It's a green month, but the opportunities that we had this month, my P&L does not accurately reflect it. This month, two things. We had penny stocks this month, and in this particular month, similar to, was it March or May? May, I think it was May that I had the trouble. Similar to May, I wasn't super aggressive towards the pennies. That's one thing. And then 2, my whole time towards stocks above, $6, $7, $8, $9 needed some work. And so now I've implemented some things to help me be a little bit better, especially when it comes to the pullback. And things that I've heard many of times in the past and over the years, suggestions even, that I'm thinking, man, to be better, I got to make those changes in these areas. It's the only way. So, on that side of things, we're looking forward to another hot market with higher price stocks to try and be a little bit better. And with that being said, we still ended up having a decent month. This red day here definitely was a tough one. 3K, 3K, man, after, building up a decent week to this point. But, we lost a lot of money too, right? A lot of this, we lost a lot, days like this where red 1K, flat, red 1K, flat, green 1K, flat. A lot of turbulence, a lot of days where, we didn't really finish at the highs per se. Let's check out some of the other days. Like, the 24th, how did we do? Is this all red? Almost green 1K and then red 3K. $4,000 turnaround. This day here, almost green 1K and then, down to 1200 before managing and doing some damage control. I think there were other days too where we gave back off the top. You look at this, a plus 1200, almost flat. Sometimes the volatility will definitely get you. This is a bit of a slower day, it seems like. And so, part of my plan this year is to try and go a little longer. Last year we did do this, but I think at some point in the year we kind of had that burnout and we started to leave a little earlier. But this year we're going to try to push through all the way to the very end and just sticking around more consistently. November, this month we had more penny stocks. We decided, hey, let's focus up on these pennies. Let's see how it goes. And we had another solid month. February, October, November, I think a lot of people are going to say, or some of the hotter months of the year. Some people may say December as well. We did have some good momentum. But just insane stuff here in November. A couple of solid days. Week 3, especially week 3, just insane stuff, man. If every single week can be like week 3, we'd have a very special trading career. But we know it's not going to always be this clean, that smooth, and those stocks are not going to always be there every single day. But we make the most out of it, and when it's not there, we try to ease off a little bit, take it easy. We did have a Thanksgiving on the 28th. And then December, which we just wrapped up. You guys will see here a lot of red days. I think maybe one of the months with the most red days was at 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 red days, man. Brutal month in terms of, and the last day of the month, just tough day. Couldn't get anything going. But all in all, pretty decent. And something that I'd like to say to you guys is that my calendars are never usually just green, all green. Like, it's something that I'm gonna keep working towards. But months like this are a testament that you can have a few red days and still come out on top. Because sometimes trading is just that tricky. It's just that difficult at times where you put forth your best effort and things just do not go according to plan, and you're just stepping down, and your accuracy is nowhere to be found on the day, and you got to say to yourself, hey, that's gonna do it. So that's our month by month play. Let's look at the detailed section. This is what most people are interested in seeing. So there's gross 330, and then there's net. So gross is before the small FINRA and SEC fees. Net will be after the small FINRA and SEC fees. So you can see daily average of 1200 versus daily average of 1300. And I do look at both. I primarily stay on gross though, because I want people to see the true numbers of the raw strategy itself. And then of course you do the comparison of net to see, hey, how much money did I lose via fees, right? But yeah, this is the true raw strategy here, right? So we had a total number of 29,000 trades, average gain of $11. If you do this math right here, it adds up to this amount. And, it just goes to show you that slow and steady can also get it done, right? Because a lot of people get caught up with the big flashy start, to start a trading career right away. They try to go up to big size. Well, it's a process. We took it slow and we're getting to this point, and you know, now we're putting a little bit more size. Now we're being a little bit more aggressive. We're taking more trades. And this $11.17, you might think, and at the end of the year, it's only going to be 10K, 5K. But it adds up. It adds up and it adds up, like crazy. So, max consecutive wins 18, which I'm actually surprised to have this many max consecutive wins. CERO, of course, for 4,400 bucks. Wow, nicely done. I'm actually surprised that number is that high. Max consecutive losses, KZIA, VPRX, and others for a total of 1K. This is a brutal stretch. July 10th. Oh my goodness. Got murdered. Okay, let's see. Scratch trade, P&L standard deviation. Total fees. Okay, there's total fees, $20,000 in fees. Performance by day of the month. We got Monday, the best day, followed by Thursday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, following behind. It seems like midweek I'm not quite where I would have needed to be midweek. Tuesday especially, massive drop off here. And sometimes you know what it is, Mondays I might have had a few bigger green days. All right, so coming down. And by the way, our count on Tuesday is the highest count. Did I overtrade on Tuesdays? Because there's no way the count is this high. And then this is the smallest day. I need to look into this some more. So perhaps I overtraded on Tuesdays and ended up giving back profits. Performance by hour of the day. Of course, I start trading primarily at 9:30. So 9:30 onwards is where the bulk of our gains are. And it seems like we did pretty well here. Looks like we did pretty well. We can also do by 30 minutes or by 15 minutes to break it down some more. So we had some red trades pre-market, and then let's see, 9:30. So between 9:30 and 9:45, we had the most of our gains, and you can see it does trickle down from there, 45 to 10 a.m., then 10 a.m. to 10:15, and so forth and so forth. 10:15, 10:30, almost identical in gains. We had a bit of a spike at 11:45, and sadly, we were red on the third, what's that, 1 p.m. 1 p.m., no good, man. 1 p.m. took us down. Not much in power hour here this year compared to last year. Or let's say the year before the last, right? Which would be 2023. And time is flying. Price and volume. Price and volume. So we had, let's see, performance by price. So primarily the stocks between 2 and 5. What's this count? Is this just for one single day? Let's see. Come up our filters. Are we good? Or maybe I don't know how to read this particular trade distribution. Distribution. All right, so let's just skip over to instruments. Yeah, okay, never mind. It is looking like it's toggled to one ticker. Let's just refresh. And then we'll come back to... Okay, here we go. Because I thought I was going crazy. So, yeah, trade distribution by price, performance by price. Below $2, we did very well. That's our best price range here this year, locking in on some of those cheaper stocks. Then we have 5 and 10, and then 2 and 5. This year, my goal is though to have the range of 10 to 20 be far greater than 2 to 5, for example, and maybe even 5 to 10. That's going to be tricky because 5 to 10 is usually very sweet. But between 10 and 20 is the range we have to get back to, like, 100K plus. We have to get to business on this price range. And then even 25 to 50, right? Stocks like DRUG when it went up. We did well on that one. Looks like we took some losses on some others. So performance by instrument. And also it looks like there might be some over trading in this range of 2 to 5 coming back. Our count is the highest here. But again, similar to that metric that we saw from Tuesday, this is not as high as we would like it to be. So coming over to instruments, performance by stocks, we had CERO, BMR, and FOXO as some top stocks. HOLO also up there. In terms of loss, our biggest gain, 21K. Our biggest loss, 4,300. And then the list trickles down. DRMA. It's funny because for some of you guys, some of these stocks might be on the other side, right? But all part of the deal. Performance by volume, as you guys know, we're usually trading stocks with high relative volume. Market behavior. I don't pay attention to this too much, but it seems, and most days the SPY is only going to be between +1 or -1%, and this was a pretty bullish year, so +1% we did the best on, which makes the most sense. Win-loss expectation. This is the tough pill to swallow here. So this is a metric that somewhat tracks our efficiency, if you want to say. I mean, it maybe tracks more than that, but that's how I like to view it. How much money did I have to make, and then what did I lose to have where I am now? And on the year, we made 1.5 million and lost 1.2 million of it to make 300,000. So there's a couple of different ways to always interpret this. At face value, when we just look at, hey, 300,000 on the year, how many people would want to make 300,000 on the year? More than likely most people, right? Because most people, if we just go off of the statistics, like, most people are not making this amount of money. But then the other side of it is, are you willing to lose $1.2 million throughout the course of a year? And I say that because, as we saw briefly in some of the graphs where we're like up and then down or down and then up, it's never just smooth and linear. Just like this cumulative P&L curve down here, graph down here rather, right? Let's zoom in some more. Just like this cumulative graph, it's not a smooth move, right? There's jagged edges and ridges and valleys and so forth and so forth. So are we willing to go through this, if you want to say, beating, right? Because on some days it is frustrating. As I mentioned, I started this year, January 1st, red, or I should say the 2nd. Started off red today. A day where I'm a little frustrated because I feel like, man, I could have ended green. So you have to be willing to roll with the punches, the hot periods, the slow periods, the in-between. And you have to always remind yourself of the marathon, right? Of the long, of the macro, not just the micro. It's not just about today, but it's also about that greater tomorrow, the next month, the next few months, the next few years, the next 10, 20 years, right? So keep that in mind. And it was a steady year for the most part. We did have more, let's say, mostly inclines. But again, coming back to April, where we had that 3-week slowdown, then we had that red patch coming into May. So we definitely had a bit of a sideways period here for almost, was that full month of sideways, and then slowly started adding back. So we had a couple of months of like 10K, 14K, 11K, slowly adding. Then we had the acceleration again in, was that November, October right here, where perhaps the acceleration could have started already. We fumbled the month. So this probably could have been twice the size if we really were able to lock in October. But better late than never, getting it in November and then December, a bit of chop here after this breakout, so a bit of a flat top. We broke out, we retested the level, and then pulled away, almost like an actual stock. So, the P&L curve going up a little bit over time, slowly but surely. Our biggest drawdown was $9,000. And then followed by a drawdown of 7,000 towards early December. So that's where we pulled away, pulled back, and then pulled away again. So, there you guys have it. We can also look at win-loss versus days. We had 176 winning days versus 76 losing days. There's about 20 days in the month. 20, is it 25 trading days in the month? Let's just actually count this on average, right? Let's see. Let's look at a different month that's more full. So let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, about 22, 23 days. About 22 or 23 days. So with all the red days I have here, if we're to sum them up in 1 month, I was essentially red for 2 to 3 months straight. And then the other, was that 9 months, I was green. If we look at it in that way, so just again, there's just different ways you can look at the metrics, right? If I could have it be, hey, first 3 months of sign the contract, first 3 months of the year, red every day, small red. That's exactly what I do. And then the last 9 months is green every day. I would definitely do something like that. That way there's no swings, there's no nothing. I know, hey, but that's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. So you gotta, every day put forward your best effort. All right, this is not fantasy land here. And so average daily gain on winning days, 2,300. Average losses on red days, 983. So daily volume, 1.2 on winning days. Daily volume on red days, about 640,000, so about half. Which is good. Hey, it's not working. Let's size it down. Let's slow down. Let's be patient. Let's stop. Things like that. Although there might have been a few days of over trading, even on the winning side of things, right? Largest gain on our winning days, 3,600. Largest loss, 2,800. And this might have happened on maybe the last day of the second to last day of the year. MVST, or maybe not. But I do know that, usually these are halt resumption trades for me because I'm getting in and then the stock does not, or else I get caught into the halts down and then it resumes lower on me. So largest loss here. Yeah, you can definitely see this one is a halt resumption trade. Oh yeah. Buying the dip, getting caught in the halt down. Brutal resumption. Brutal resumption. But part of the deal. Average hold times, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. So, these are the numbers, right? Here it is. All, and let's come back to net. So about 310,000 on the year. How do I feel after being up this amount of money? On one hand, I'm very grateful. And I feel awesome that I'm able to do something like this because it is something, right? This amount of money here is not like it's nothing. So I'm very grateful. It's definitely allowed me to do things in my life that I would not have been able to do otherwise, right? Trading full time. I actually have 2 cars, which is like, crazy. I have 2 cars at this age, which most people don't. Some people don't even have 1 car, right? So to have 2 cars in itself is already crazy. To be able to travel and live freely, and It's interesting for the holidays. It's like I was thinking if I'm one of my relatives or siblings or friends or whatever, what would I get for me? What would I get for myself? What do you get for somebody who can get anything that they want essentially for themselves? What do you gift that person? And it's a conversation to be had there for sure. Um, some people might draw on answers like fundamental things or sentimental things, right? I think that's the word I'm looking for, sentimental. Something that has some sort of value that's just outside of money. But when you're making this kind of money, you can get anything you want for yourself. I want a new car, came out this year, I can go get it, right? Unless we're buying a Bugatti or something, then we need twice this amount. And then, we can't get that. But, again, coming back to the needs of a human being and just needs versus wants. What do I need and also what do I want? Right? There's not many I'm not like a super materialistic person. Do I want to enjoy some of the finer things in life? Sure. But I'm also not super materialistic. So, it's interesting, man, this trading thing to be able to make $1,200 a day for a year straight is insane. And we're gonna look forward to doing it this year. So, coming into some of that motivation that we mentioned, we're gonna also talk a little bit about game plan after this. But in terms of motivation, I'll start off by saying for the people who are red on the year, because there are some people who are watching on who might have been red, who might have had a tough year, who might have had a tough time, and it feels like there's no hope, but there's always hope. And you have to keep in mind that, you know, is again, the grand perspective. It's not about today, it's not about tomorrow, but that grand perspective, that grand perspective. And if we're to where do we see this? Let's see here. I think we might need to go to 20. I want to show you guys some of the older usually it shows you the year right off the bat. Yeah, I want to show you guys some of the older. Okay, let's go to calendar. I want to show you guys some of the older months just so you can see what it was like. Oh yeah, there we go. It's right here. For Relentless Trader starting off as a baby. My first month going live. Look at these numbers here. Small numbers, $70, $700. And there's numbers that are even smaller, and then beyond that, there are also months where I didn't make money. There are months where I lost money. October, red almost every day. It's crazy that now this could be a red day for me, and it's like nothing. Again, process over profits. It took me time to get to a place where this number now could just be a normal red day. Versus back here, it was like a disaster of a month. Massive red. These red days like this at this time were massive, massive red days. So it's not this overnight thing that some people just assume that it is. 2020, $800 in the month September 2020. A few red days scattered in the monthly calendar. It just was not an overnight success. Even 2022, January, February, look at this. January 2022, made nothing. Look at the numbers. Even if I had to size down, just had to size down this week here to regain confidence. Going into the next month, which was February 2022, another flat month. Taking it slow, small share size, few trades. Are we willing to do what's necessary to ensure success? 1 to 10 shares, small accounts, small cash accounts, simulators, practicing, going through the classes, understanding the strategy, and then applying it with small size. So it wasn't just, hey, RT was born great. Some people who might have just found the channel a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, man, this guy, he's making 5K in a day, 2K in a day, 10K, 15, 20K in a day. It wasn't always like that. We had our rough patches, we had our rough months, And slowly but steadily, even the average month here, if we look 8,000 then 3,000, now we can have this in one day. 2,900 within 1 month is now one decent day. Progression, gradual progression. So utilize me, that if I can do this thing, it must mean that it's possible. And it comes down at that point to understanding a strategy and following something that's credible and transparent, right? Whether it's us or someone else or some other program, that's the key. So stay positive, stay motivated, keep working on improving into this new year. Keep working on improving into this new year. Other than that, coming into 2023, as you guys know, we did have a bit of a better year as well. But so in terms of game plan and what we're looking to improve on, what we're looking to do better this year, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about when it comes to one, preparation, and then two, duration, right? Preparation. Last year, I'd say maybe 80% of the days, I did what I needed to do in terms of just getting a good night's rest, coming in early, coming ready, being on time. Recently I feel like I've been slacking off a little on that, and that's something that I want to bring back, right? I'm going to bring that back, and we have to be very consistent about it. Ultimately, it's a grind, and at times we can feel burned out and we can slack off. But we got to pull ourselves back quickly, man, because we're doing this, and we've chosen to do this because of what it can allow us to do if we are in the position that we're in, right? And essentially our dreams are playing out right before us, and so we cannot take it for granted. We still have to put in the time, we still have to put in the work. If not, we're gonna fall off. That's just what's gonna happen. Gotta put in the work, and remember, going to like planning out our days so that trading is essentially the center point and everything revolves around it. For us who are full time, that's just how it has to be. We don't have a boss, we don't have anyone to tell us what to do, when to wake up, when to punch in, when to clock in. We have that freedom, and sometimes it can be abused because sometimes we can be lazy, right? We all can be lazy, we can get distracted, we can procrastinate, whatever word comes up. So we always have to schedule our days, compartmentalize, and understand you know how we want to structure the day so that we're always back to base to do our due diligence. Studying is something that's pretty big that I think I fell off on. I do the recaps, and from time to time I would still go through the archives, but I want it to be daily, man. Daily is the key. Daily revision, in-depth revision. And for me, this needs to be at least 30 minutes to an hour, preferably an hour. Daily revision, man. Daily revision. Daily revision, I think, is going to help me solve a lot of the small technical issues that I'll face throughout the given days. Because when you go back and you just watch over the tape, watch over the level 2, watch over your trading, it just becomes so obvious the problems that you have to fix. Even more clear than when you do the recap. It's even more clear, more obvious. So that's the key for me this year. If I'm to make 1 million plus, that's part of the description that's in the contract. Review for an hour every single day without fail. If I cannot do that, I might as well take $1 million and throw it out the window. Nothing more, nothing less. It's that simple. It is that simple. I know it's different for different people are different. Somebody else might not need to study at all. But I know myself. I know myself well enough. This is what's required for me to get to the next levels. And so I look forward to studying each and every single day in sickness and in health. And it's why it's also good to build good habits, good routines, as we mentioned just now. structuring the day, compartmentalizing, knowing at what time, what I need to be doing. And it doesn't have to be to the T like military style, but we need to have, or let's say continuing to have even better structure to our days, making sure we're always on time and being very consistent. Even when the universe throws a curveball at us and you get called late night to pick up someone at the airport or something, we fall back in line. We don't use that as an excuse to slack off and go party or whatever nonsense. So these are all key things that I'm trying to implement and work on into the new year. There's some things that are tough to do, but you just got to do it. You got to dig deep, and one of those things for me is of course the recaps. I think at times they can feel repetitive. I don't want to use the word tedious because it's never tedious, but it becomes repetitive. And for me, the recaps help me, but there are some days where you know I know what the problem is, and it feels somewhat trivial to come on and say, guys, I overtraded, or guys, I hesitated too much. Like, things like that. Those are the days where the recaps are very difficult for me to make. And some of it is frustration at myself for making the mistake anyways. But, keep in mind again, process over profits. Process over profits. Process over profits. June, how was June last year? June last year, well, yeah, not bad. 16,000. Couple of solid weeks, especially week 4. So, in terms of the community, right? In terms of the community, how did the community do? I mean, it's going to be a long video here. Profit loss section. Okay, Relentless, we saw how you did. How did the Relentless trading community finish up? All right, let's go through it. So MNQ, nicely done, 57,000. We're gonna focus on all the yearly P&Ls here. Ken, $55,000 on the year, and a nice month in December. Let's see. Big Steve, a nice month in December. A little bit more red days than he would have liked, but nevertheless, getting it done. Let's see if we can find those yearly calendars. Kersey, last month, a solid month for December, 66,000. Enzo, process over profits, one of the MMU students who've been finding his way towards consistency, $15,000. Enzo, way to go, man. We're very proud that you're making good progress. The trades, solid month, 32,000, and year, $209,000. Grandpa John, way to go, proving again process over profits, and is now going to start sizing up here into the new year. Jackson, $299,000 and a $72,000 month in December. Jackson, way to go, you absolute monster. And Jackson is going to be on a bit of a hiatus. He will be back in June of this year. Jackson will be MIA for 6 months as he's traveling with his family. Shout out to Jackson, man. Well deserved, and an absolute monster trader. I mean, the moment he gets back, it's going to be over for the markets. Let's see. Trying to find some more yearly calendars here. Gus, monthly calendar here. Nicely done. 72,000. We have some individual days to end up the year. Beam. Here we go. Here's a big one. Shout out to Beam, who is up 500,000. $500,000 for the year 2024. Shout out to Beam, one of the MMU students who has become a star. And he is, man, this year is for sure $1 million. Took $10 million for Beam this year. Beam has been absolutely killing the game, man. Jackson, Beam, I mean, man, hey, shout out to the MMU students. Gambit. Let's see. Big Steve. Big Steve. $182,000. And just look at this beautiful P&L curve, man. Big Steve is also an MMU student. Big Steve has full access to myself, Marcelo, Tim, the MMU chapters, and of course, he's also an admin in the chat room. Shout out to Big Steve, man. One of the most incredible stories here in the chat. Tim, the monster. We got a couple of monsters coming up. Hold on. We got a few monsters here. Tim, the monster, one of the other mentors here in the community. Tim, 1.1 million. $1.1 million on the year for Tim. Tim, man, I mean, Tim's story is also pretty crazy. Tim got invited to one of our team house trips, July, I think, 2022 or 2023, I believe. 2023, I think it was. And at that point in the year, Tim made 16,000. And he met up with us. We spoke about a few things with his trading that we thought he could have improved on. And I mean, you might have thought this guy would have went from 16K to like 50K or 100K. No, Tim took that information, and not only did he run with it, but he started to use boosters on his back and fly. Because Tim went from 16K from June, was it January to June, and then from June to December, 300K. And then into 2024, 1.1 million. And Tim's been trading for a long time too, man. So his story is also not overnight. He was trading since 2017, 2018, and slowly up until mid 2023 finally really turned the corner. So again, another example of taking it slow, process over profits. And I mean, he already was a great trader. Just a few tweaks. And sometimes that's what trading is a few puzzle pieces, whether on the disciplinary side, technical side, things like that. Because sometimes we underestimate what 1% better can be. Marginally better, what marginally better can be. Another monster, Save. Save is this year, easy 3-4 million this year for Save, man. 2025 for Save. I think he has another part where he posted the number as well. So we're gonna come down some more. Okay, here we go. Save. This year for Save, easy 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 million. I don't mean, I don't know anything at this rate because Save, man, what can I say? This, and one thing I really like about this guy is that he posts, because not, and it's fair, not everybody will post. Some people are more private. Save is a true monster, man. This guy is very, very encouraging and very cool guy. If you meet him in person, awesome guy, man. Shout out to the entire day trading team house. Tim, Marcelo, Crispy, Save, Calamity. All these guys will see as we continue to go lower. And Save is a very, very aggressive trader. He has some of the biggest screen days here in the chat room. You guys will see him as we continue to go down. Minty, one of the students here, $251,000. $251,000 for Minty, who also attended a team house trip with us in Miami. His brother, Dynasty, likewise, another solid year. I mean, these guys killed it, man. Absolutely incredible. Shout out to the bros getting it done. 2 MMU students who also started off process over profits. Process over profits. Spartan. This guy here is the very first person that bought MMU. Spartan is the very first student that bought the program. Can't wait to do the interview with him. His interview is coming up soon. There's gonna be one out this Sunday, and then perhaps next weekend we're gonna get Spartan. Spartan, red to green, Again, process over profits. He went through his trials and tribulation until he finally figured it out. And then from red, about 23,000 to green, over 200K. About 220,000 if I had to guess the number in between there. So shout out to Spartan. Will, we see you. Congratulations. Way to go. Glumford, one of the chat room members who watches on the channel consistently. Solid month. One of his best months, I think he mentioned. 117,000. And then P&L year to date, 324. He did mention that he had some fees, so about 287. Just incredible stuff. And I spoke to him on a live video call to give him the blue check. Great guy. Great guy. We're going to hang out sometime soon. He's around us. So shout out to Glump. We're going to hang out, get some lunch sometime, man. Odin, $263,000. As you guys can see, man, the people are getting it done. The people are getting it done. Odin, another chat room member that's watching us every day on the live stream. Jay with smaller size, 2,900, process over profits. Nice incline and steadily going up. Shout out to Jay. Momo Bro. Let's see here. July start, a little choppy, a little sideways, and then started to pull away in October. Although a little bit of a pullback though here towards the end of the year. But shout out to Momo Bro for seeing some good green, and we look forward to him continuing in his journey into the new year. You had myself. So after fees, actually, my trader view is not giving me the accurate number. So this number here is gross. This number is gross, 332. Trader view tells me, let's see, last year. We have to do last year. Trader view is telling me, let's see here. Oh, forgot we gotta click this thing. Yeah, it's telling me okay, well, it's not off by much. So 330 versus 332. So the net amount on TraderView might be inaccurate as well by, well, it's not going to be anything crazy. Let's say plus or minus like 5,000, which is not a big deal. One scratch trade. Good old Cactus. Shout out to Robert, man. Robert, one of the most consistent traders in here as well. 1K a day. Mr. 1K a day, Robert, getting it done. $167,000. Calamity, Team House member. 400K on the year and recovered from a big drawdown of about 65, maybe 70,000. So shout out to Calamity getting it done. I mean, these numbers are absolutely incredible. And as you guys can see, he's at all-time highs, ready to break out again. Over 400,000. We got Green Dream in the building. Last year, about 40,000. This year, $386,000. Yeah, shout out to Green Dream who got it done. And by the way, we had so many people who did not post, like Dynamo, BMac, Kitty. There's a lot of Crispy. There's a lot of people. Some people are more private, which is fine. Some people are more private. We had a lot of people who did not post. Let's see, Cool Man, small red on the month, but still in the process towards consistency. So we look forward to a prosperous year of 2025 and getting better and locking in. Mig, one of the students who are also still in the journey here towards improving, read 11,000. And I do love the transparency here because, my name is also Mr. Transparent. As I start and I come out, I want the people to see everything. And there's no tricks, there's no gimmicks, there's no hiding. And we love to see our traders also having that same energy, right? So MIG, we're at 11K on the year. But of course, 2025 is the year of redemption. 2025 the year of progress. So, let's keep pushing forward one day at a time, one trade at a time, until we get to that level where we need to be. So, as mentioned for myself earlier, a lot more studying this year is what's going to be necessary to get to that next level. Save with the Twitter post, you guys can check him out. Check him out. Nicely done. Nicely done. Now we have Oliver. Oliver, $105,000 on the year, and has a big goal for 2025. Let's see. Let's keep coming down. Mighty Putty, nice month in December, $69,000. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. Dash, nice month in December as well. Way to go. Way to go. Andy, $160,000, man. Shout out to Andy, great guy. We also have an interview with him coming soon. Andy's absolutely crushing it. He's joined up with us here for over a year now, and he's just absolutely dominating the game. Shout out to Andy, getting it done. Absolute monster. Let's see, do we have any more yearly calendars? Okay, and this is today. So today we had some people post. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for the video. It's been an incredible year in 2024. 2025, let's see what it has in store. I think if we can continue with all the good habits that we've had, work on improving on the bad ones, and bringing in new things to optimize and be more efficient, that's what's going to get us to the next level. So looking forward to being great, looking forward to making progress, because ultimately, for me, that's my only goal, is to progress. And so I'm going to work on doing just that. So hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Let's keep pushing forward. Let's aim to be better. Remember, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. I'm seeing some big things in my mind, so we'll bring it to reality. Let's keep pushing. No wall is too tall, no mountain is too high. Let's do what's necessary. Let's do all the right things that's necessary to ensure success. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. 2025, here we come.